Kia ora. Taking a look at the satellite picture across New Zealand this morning, you can see we've got a cloudier story across the North Island. Beneath that, there have been a few showers, not huge totals, but I think just a touch more cloud across the North Island. Then we can see down the south, plenty of clear sky and sunshine through there. As we head through the rest of today for Friday, we'll keep hold of those areas of cloud and still a few showers to watch out for, especially across those more northern parts of New Zealand, parts of Northland, down towards the Coromandel and perhaps in towards the Bay of Plenty, one or two heavier ones, perhaps even the odd rumble of thunder right on that far northern coast. But you can see down south, high pressure is still with us and it stays dry for many of us as we go through the rest of Friday and even in towards the night time for the South Island. However, more eagle-eyed viewers will have noticed that there's the next front out towards the west, and as that pushes closer towards us, it does mark the change in weather once we head in towards the weekend. Another front moving up from the south will bring some wetter weather towards that western coast, some strengthening winds as well around those eastern parts and those central parts of New Zealand, and we are going to find things looking wetter even on the North Island as we head through towards Sunday. So here we are as we go through the night time. Ahead of that next front, nothing too cold. Temperatures down to around about 10 degrees Celsius through the lower parts of Canterbury, and even on towards the North Island, some of those more inland parts down to about 11 degrees Celsius, but on the whole, nothing untoward for this time of year. As we head in towards Saturday, you can see that front moves northwards, bringing that wetter weather and those cloudy conditions back on towards the western coast, and some stronger winds ahead of it as well. You'll also notice on the eastern side we have got some showers, but through parts of Southland and Otago. Could be one or two heavy, perhaps even thundery ones through there. But how much rain it makes it in towards Canterbury and those inland parts of Otago is all still to play for. Generally, I think the wetter weather up through the higher parts of Westland, up in towards the southern Alps, and not huge amounts out towards, say, Canterbury, but we will find a few spots of rain through there. And we'll also find some patchy rain in towards parts of Nelson and Marlborough. And by the end of the day, we'll find that wet weather transfers towards the North Island, along with some of those stronger winds, particularly through the likes of, say, Wellington and the southern parts of Wairarapa. And with that in mind, there are some severe weather watches across New Zealand. Now, for the watches on that western coast, we're looking at rainfall being the heaviest up through the ranges of Fiordland, perhaps in towards the ranges of Westland, and even for parts of the Grey and Buller district, up in towards those higher areas there, we could find those rainfall amounts reaching that warning criteria, particularly if we have one or two rumbles of thunder in there as well, just bringing one or two heavier bursts. But it's really more likely to be a risk for the higher parts in towards the ranges, and that's also a story for the likes of, say, the Taurua range up on the North Island there. Now those watches start in the morning time down south, and as that front moves northwards, we'll find that risk increases as we go further north through the daytime. And we'll find those winds increasing ahead of that front as well. Northwesterlies once again through the Canterbury High Country and for Wellington and the southern parts of Wairarapa once we head towards that second half of the day on Friday, and more especially second half of the day on Saturday, and more especially through in towards the evening time up in the north there. So it is going to be a windy story down south, but for many parts of the North Island, Saturday starts off pretty well. Plenty of clear sky and sunshine, a few pockets of early morning mist and fog through parts of Waikato, perhaps even one or two up in towards Northland as well. But as we head through the daytime, we'll find that next front moves closer towards us, introduces more cloud across those southern parts, and by the evening time, we'll find some wet weather in from, say, Waikato, Taranaki, and down towards the likes of, say, Wellington, and up in towards Manawatu as well. So you can see things that do go downhill through the daytime. For the far northern parts of the country, though, just seeing that cloud increasing as we head through the daytime on Saturday. And for the eastern side, we've got most of the day staying dry through Hawke's Bay and Gisborne. And we are going to find a bit of high cloud later on. But it will be pretty warm on that side of the country, with those temperatures climbing back up to, again, around about 28, 29 degrees Celsius, perhaps even 30 odd degrees for places like Hastings as we head through the daytime. Not too dissimilar up in towards Auckland, 27 degrees Celsius as we go through daytime, and most of the time like to be staying dry as well. As we go through the next couple of days, we are still going to be looking at some pretty dry weather on that eastern coast. So there are still some extreme risks, extreme fire risks as we go in towards Saturday itself, particularly down through parts of Wairarapa. But you can see elsewhere we've still got that risk of moderate, even high through parts of the North Island. So it's well worth keeping a close eye on these as we go through the weekend and in towards next week as well. Down on towards the south side, we are looking at that front advancing up the country. The watch down through Fiordland starts off early in the morning from about 4 a.m, but you can see as we go through daytime that rain moves northwards in towards Westland and eventually up towards Buller and Nelson by the end of the day. Out towards the eastern side, we'll find those showers or spells of rain moving up through Otago and Southend. Some heavier falls, not out of the question, and some patchy rain there. The watch for the stronger winds really through the daytime on Friday, through that second half of the day more than anything else. But we are going to find a bit of patchy rain makes its way in towards Canterbury. You can see there's a fair gap where you get the shelter from the Southern Alps, and the next front runs up that eastern side of the country. So how much makes it in towards those more inland areas, those areas which are looking for a bit of useful rainfall, could still be finding there's not much as we go through the daytime on Saturday. In terms of our temperatures, in that eastern side, we are still looking at plenty of clear sky for most of the day and plenty of dry weather for parts of, say, Canterbury north of Christchurch. So we are looking at those temperatures still being pretty warm. Highs back up to about 27 degrees Celsius. On the western coast, temperatures are around about 20 degrees Celsius. Not too bad, but I think generally a cloudier day for you with that rain spreading northwards through the day as well. Do watch out for those winds, a combination of winds and those higher temperatures, and still with that drier period of weather for the first part of the day. Again, you can see we've still got those extreme risk areas, those pockets of higher risk fire risks as we go through the rest of Saturday. So especially for those northern parts of Canterbury and up towards Marlborough. Parts of Marlborough seeing very, very little rainfall through the month so far. As we go through in towards Saturday, you can see the front moves up towards the North Island. It continues to move away as we head through daytime, but generally it's a bit of a switch of islands. Down the south, generally most spots will be fine and dry. The wind's a lot lighter as well. We'll still keep hold of a few showers, a bit of cloud in the far southern parts of Southend, but you can see that front is moving northwards across the North Island as we head through the daytime on Sunday. So places like Wanganui and New Plymouth, although you may start off with some wetter weather, it will improve as we head through the daytime. This front is set to stay close by as we head in towards Monday. Hopefully the worst of the rainfall staying just off that northern coast, but well worth keeping an eye on the forecast. And as ever, you can always find the latest forecasts at metservice.com.